A movie was released, Oppenheimer. We watched it. Incredible movie. But what we could see was there were potential questions that could be asked in various competitive exams, especially UPSC. So let's rewatch it from an aspirant's point of view. So we'll look at the various words that were used, the word meaning to it, the social concepts that were used, and of course, primarily the scientific terms that were introduced in the movie. So first of all, pragmatic. Pragmatic means thinking practically. Similar words like pessimist, optimist, you might have heard. Pessimist is when you are negative on the future. Positive view is called as optimism. Pragmatic is when you are thinking practically. So the scientific concepts that have been used time and again, one of them that stands out is Chandrasekhar limit. So when we talk about black holes, we know that it's highly dense, that it collapses on itself. So when we talk about what is that high, how to quantify it, so Chandrasekhar has tried to quantify it, and that is called as 1.4 solar masses. So that is the stable mass of a white dwarf star. Once it crosses this limit, there is high chance that it will become unstable. Now, the star of the movie, nuclear fission and fusion. So, fission is the splitting of a heavy, unstable nucleus into two lighter nuclei. And fusion is the process where two light nuclei combine together, releasing vast amount of energy. So, in both of the cases, vast amount of energy is released. Now, let's look at the few point by point difference, because in exams, they try to twist few facts and ask is that questions. So chain reaction is occurs in fission. It doesn't occur in fusion. Also, disposal of nuclear waste, that is a huge concern in terms of nuclear fission, but not in fusion. Also, raw material is easier to obtain in case of nuclear fission, but the process of creating tremendous pressure, that is the difficult part in the fusion, because we are trying to combine nuclei that requires a lot of pressure. And we can see that across scientific community there have been efforts made to create a sun. That was a process that was being developed in China. So these are few things that we need to keep ourselves aware of the developments, because frequently the questions are asked from this topic, and in the end also we'll see few important questions that were asked in the previous few questions. Now, coming to this, the nuclear fuels. When we talk about nuclear reactors, we come across three major fuels: uranium, thorium, and plutonium. So uranium field reactors, they can be built right away, right? But thorium is a three-phased process. In fact, in India, we primarily use the thorium-based reactors. Now, plutonium is something, it has a low success rate because you have to use only slowed down neutron. For example, in uranium 233, which is actually produced from thorium. So rather than explaining it through voice, it might be difficult. So I've created a pictorial representation as well. You can see that the chain reaction, how it happens. So U-233 is produced as a byproduct when you're trying to work on thorium. Now, the speciality of U-233 is that any speed of neutron would work. So for example, we saw that in plutonium, we need slowed down neutron only. When it comes to uranium 235, it is fissile, but it's a rare abundance. Now, one another term that you might have heard is the fast breeder reactor. So, fast breeder reactor is when you're using fast neutron to make more of plutonium 239 from uranium 238. So, these are the basic concepts that you need to be aware of, because these are the terms that are frequently asked. You can also take a screenshot of it to for your future reference. Saw that many famous scientists have made appearances. So let's try to understand few of them and the important fields that they were associated. Neil Bohr is associated with development of atomic model. One such model is the plum pudding model that was developed by J.J. Thomson. Heisenberg is associated with uncertainty principle. So uncertainty principle states that when you're trying to calculate the velocity and position of an electron, it is difficult to calculate both of them with high accuracy. Albert Einstein, he is credited with developing the theory of relativity. Now, the Oppenheimer, he is the star of the movie. He is also called as the father of atomic bomb. He was involved in the Manhattan Project. We can see that in the movie. The area is Los Alamos. That's the area the project developed. And the bomb that they developed is called the Trinity. This is the same bomb that was dropped in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So drop in comment that which bomb was dropped in which city. The fat man, the fat boy, we heard those names. So try to drop your comment and your answers. Now, the movie was set in the context of World War II. Let's understand few facts about it. The World War II happened in the between 1939 and 1945. There were two sides of it, the Axis power and the Allied. So Axis power were Germany, Italy, and Japan. The Allied power were Great Britain, United States, and Soviet Union. Now, one thing is that we can associate with Indian history. It was in 1939, the Indian National Congress, the government that was formed, they all resigned. It was only because the Britain dragged India to World War II. Now, the social science concepts that were involved in the movie were communism and socialism. These are very closely linked and it might be confusing. So, communism and socialism, in both the cases, state assumes the power of the property. They take control of all the resources. The only difference is that in socialism, there is an aspect of distribution which is more of equal in nature. But in communism, the quantum of benefit that is to be given to the people, that is entirely the discretion of the government. Here also in socialism is the discretion of the government, but it is guided by the principle of equality. Future reference. Now let's look at few questions that came in UPSC in previous years. So first of all, to meet its rapidly growing energy demand, India should pursue its research. Uh, and this is about thorium. So I will just request you that you look at the question, try to answer it in the comments. Also, the second question is about the IAEA, that is the International Atomic Energy Agency. I have also added a few additional notes for your reference on the IEAE. Also, try to answer it in the comment. We'll look at the comments and we'll share the correct answer in few minutes. Thank you so much. Hope the video helped you in understanding the movie and helped you generate a new perspective about how to look for questions around your surrounding, because we have recently seen the trend where UPSC and all the competitive exams are trying to pick questions from your surrounding to check how really aware you are. Please support us so that we can make future videos on such topics. Thank you. Do like and share.